buddies, that was the Queen classic Now I'm Here. So I'm starting on just guitar. I'm playing just a D5 chord, open D, 2 and 3 on G and B, but I'm muting it. So I'm resting my palm lightly on the bridge and just playing downstrokes. So and I'm playing it with my second and fourth finger. Okay, you know, probably easiest to play with your second and third, or first and second, whatever. But the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to just put my third finger over for the next chord. Okay, so I'm just so that carries on a bit. Okay, just play through the record, and then I'm playing C, muted D, sort of, and the open G. Again, all just muted. And then, so I'm playing 3 open open. Yeah, on the A string, open D, open G. Then moving that third finger down to the second. I've still got my little finger there, but I'm not actually playing it. I'm just there for later. So I'm playing now a G over B. So 2 open open. Then G minor over B flat. So 1 open open for 2 bars. But just before going back to the first chord, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, so it's like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm just playing that, putting my third finger back in place on that C, so it kind of lifts you back up towards the D, going back up. So and then you're back into the D5. Now I'm here. Yeah, going that, and then you C this. And we don't go to the B flat that second time. We just go to the C on 3, and 2, 1 and 2 and 3, back to the C. So it's like, and again, yeah, it's the C. Yeah, so that's basically the D to the C to the B again, to the 3 to 2, and then into that. But just before we get into that, there's a second guitar solo. Just playing, does that 3 times over the D chord. Just playing an A to a D, 7 6 5 to 7 7 7. Yeah, and kind of second and third times comes in with a couple of drum stabs as well. Okay, that kind of stuff. Karate. All right. So that's the first section, and then we're just going to an. So I'm just playing an A, just a normal A chord. Yeah. To an A sus4. Alright, and then I'm taking that up to a B. So I'm adding on the A, I'm adding the 3rd fret of the B string, and then going to a B bar chord and adding 5 on the B string. So there you got this great riff. Okay, so I did a little slide into it, which is quite nice. Kind of optional. It's, you know, but. So the first bit is, yeah, it's open E, G to G sharp. then an E on 2 on the D string, then 3, 4. So open, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Then a B to an A chord, and then 3, 4 open, G, G sharp open. I'm playing a D to A, then a B, and I'm not playing an F sharp, just playing the bottom note with a bit of a wiggle. So I'm not playing, yeah, it's just more. So a B chord and then 2, a single note there on the E string. Then open A, B flat B, open 1, 2, open 2, on the D string, A string, D string, open E, then playing an E bar chord in the 7th position, adding my little finger on 11 to make it an E6, kind of rock and roll, yeah, and then a D to an A, yeah. With that A, I'm playing it more as a kind of 5 chord, just, yeah, just 5 and 7 really, but you could play, yeah, whatever, as long as it works. Okay, and then we're into yeah, so the first one is, so just slide into a B, B5, so 7 and 9 on the E and A strings, add in my little finger on 11 on the A string this time, yeah, and then that E again, add in my little finger on 11 again, then a D to an A again, and repeat. And then the second time going B to E, or however you want to play it, but just, okay, and then we go to, so I'm just sliding to an A. Again, I find it just a little cleaner just to play these bottom chords as 5 chords, or yeah, just rather than playing the whole thing. Yeah, but so it's basically A to D, that sliding into that, B to E, slide up to a C sharp, to F sharp, so up to the 9th position, then a D sharp, and up to a G sharp, so then I'm playing an E5 chord there, so I'm just playing 7, 9, 9, open, open. Starting on the A string, and then an F sharp chord, 9th position there. Yeah, so 9, 11, 11, 11. Then a G5 chord in the open position. So 3, muted A string, open, open, 3, 3. Yeah. So. Okay, and then we're back into. Okay, so one thing I've not gone over yet is on those suspended chords, and the second time I was playing it ever so slightly differently. So first time I was playing a B and added a sus4. Okay, the second time it sounds like there's a seventh in there. Again, it's kind of not very different. So if you just played the same thing, nobody's likely to notice. But so here I was playing, instead of just 2, 4, 4, 5, I was playing 2, 4, 2, 5. So you get that note in there. So you get. But it's a very small difference, okay? But what I've done over those, that A to A sus, B to B sus, and then the second one is B to B sus 7, B7 sus, okay? Basically, I've got an octave pedal on. So I've set it to an octave up, and on the A chord, I'm bending the G, kind of a slow bend, on the 15th fret, up to an A. Yeah, just, and then when it hits the B chord, okay, doing the same. So bending up a tone on the 15th fret and then the 17th fret with an octave pedal on, okay? So that's what I was doing for that bit. Okay, so we've done the kind of verse, and then we've got that little, okay, and then do that back into the riff. Yeah, same as before. And then again, we go into, just like before. Yeah. And this is a slight change. So the first time it went B to E. The second time it drops down A to D. And we played the sequence that we played before, that rising sequence, but starting a tone lower. So whereas we started on A before, we start now sliding to a G, to C, A to D. So B to E, C sharp to F sharp. Okay, and then we've got a D, and then an E to an A. Okay, and then we've got this section which has got like a guitar solo on it, which we'll come to later. Okay, but it's basically all played over a B, E, A, B, and then last couple of bars it's just a muted B. Okay, so it's pretty easy to follow on the record. Okay, where that comes in, it's just those three chords and the last couple of bars coming out of that solo, and then you're back into and then we're basically into a shorter version of the intro. So it's just going that, so we're going from the D to the C to the B to that B flat for 2 bars. And then we go to an A, okay, which we didn't do before. Okay, and then from the A we're into and then what we've got here is an extra little did-do. So we've got okay, so whereas before we went D to A, B to a single F sharp, we now add into that an A to an E. So it's one extra did-dum. So it's basically So it's just like before, ends in the same way, and then you. And then it just goes round at the end on that guitar solo section again, the B to E to A. Okay, and then at the very end, as it fades out, it's just chugging away on a B. Okay, so that just leaves the solo. So I didn't play it exactly as the track. I didn't like learn every little phrase. What I did is kind of follow the shape of it more. Okay, and just learn what he was doing, because you know he's not going to play it the same every time. It's kind of just a kind of Chuck Berry style rock and roll licks that he's playing over this section. So what I was doing was playing things like. So it's all based mainly around the B blues scale, with the common rock and roll trick is to add that third note, the minor third and the major third. So we've got stuff like that. So it's 7/7 on the B and E strings. So what you often get a lot of is these double stops, 9 and 9, 7/7. Stuff like that. G sharp there. So that's using the major 6 as well. So using a few extra notes, not just the blues scale. It's all classic kind of rock and roll stuff, you know. That G sharp. So 6, 7. So 6, 9, 7, 9. They are the D and G strings. And then. So you get stuff like that. So he often goes here, 11 and 10, F sharp and A of the G and B strings, back to that 9, 9, and a little common little touch is to play that 7/7, but hammer to 8 on the G string. So you get that D to D sharp I was talking about. Land on the root, the B. So all that kind of stuff. And then yeah, stuff like that he plays. A little. You can bend that 9 and 9. You can also do a little bend. Pull on that 7/7. It all. Then just down the blues scale. Yeah. 9, 7, 9, 7/7. He puts that lick in there somewhere. All right, and then he also does. He moves that up when he's playing 11 and 10 to 13 and 12. Back down. And you get this very Chuck Berry kind of just a very rock and roll phrase. So you just 7, 9, 9, that hammer, 7, hammer to 8 on the G. All that stuff is kind of what I was playing in that solo. So as I say, don't get too hung up on playing it exactly. Again, it kind of ended with a bit of that, little bend. So bending on 10 and playing 7. Then kind of coming down. So 7. Those two little double stops we played. So then down the blues scale. So it's like 9, 7, 9, 7, 10 with a little bend. That's how I finished it. All right. Whatever. Okay, and you're back into that. All right. So yeah. So that's basically what I was doing on those little solos. Not getting too hung up on playing it exactly, because if you're trying too hard to play what somebody else is playing, it'll probably feel a bit stilted. So it's better just to learn kind of the notes they play, the style they're playing, and then just do your own thing a little bit, loosen up a little bit. And again, on the outro solo, it's all the same stuff with just going up the neck a bit further. So I was playing all that, but also going to just play the B chord on 11, 12, 11. That's up. And then the little lick I was playing as well is, again, this is just the top part of a B chord too. So I've done 16 and 14, and then just doing some double stops down to 14, 12, 12, 11, 10, 9. So that kind of stuff. But yeah, all that kind of notes there, the little double stops, the blues scale, those little kind of double stop bends, that little hammer. Just throw it all in and enjoy, basically. That's what it's all about. Have some fun with it. Okay, so next we'll take a look at the bass part. So the bass part I'm playing is really a kind of composite bass part, because if you listen to the track very carefully, there's actually, in classic Queen style, some overdubs. There's like 2 tracks of bass, sometimes together, sometimes playing slightly different things. But of course, if you play it live, you've got one bass, unless you're kind of Spinal Tap. All right, so, but anyway, let's start with where we start. We start on an A. Okay, so the guitar intro, we're coming. So I've got an A. Okay, and then I'm just playing 5 on the E string, and then little hammer, G to A, 5 to 7 on the D string, back to G on 5, E, and then just moving chromatically, A, B flat, B, 5, 6, 7, just holding that. Then we're into the riff. Okay, so I've got to play open E, G, G sharp, E. Then 2 E's, open E. So open, 3, 4 on E, 2 on D, back to 2 open. Then B, A, 2 open on the A string. And then G, G sharp, open E. Then D to A, so 5, 5, okay, on A and E. Then B to F sharp, 2 to 2, same strings. Then open A, B flat, B. Open 1, 2, open 2 on D, D to E. Then just an open E, D, A, 5, 5 on A and E. All right, that's kind of intro. Then so kind of verses I'm playing, and the first time Mrs. doesn't play it full, but I just played it full every time because it almost sounds like just kind of, there's little variations, but I just kind of stuck to the main riff. But just the first time I think he plays a few less notes, but it's basically B, D, D sharp, E, 7, 5, 6, 7 on E and A, then D to D sharp, hitting a B on 9 or the D string, then those notes again, ba, 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 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, and E will slide to 7, and D to A, 5 to 5, and then that A to B to start again. Ba 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 ba. And you go. This time you go B E B E. Ba da 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 ba 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 da 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 da. So here I'm playing ba da 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 da. So sign to an A on 5 to D, and then B to E. So 5 5 5 5 on E and A, 7, and then add in a little third here. Okay, I say this is like where you've got a couple of basses, but you play at one bass. So I'm playing, sliding up from 7 and playing 9 and 8. Okay, and then 9 and 9. So C sharp and F, and C sharp and F sharp. They're just doing that shape 2 frets higher. D sharp and D, D sharp and G, sorry, D sharp and G sharp. So, and then E, all that on the 7, on the 8, and ba ba ba, the B G me. So F sharp G, 2 to 3, and then it's like kind of like a bit of the intro again, not the full intro. Going to the B. And putting that little fill in, just like the A, but 2 frets up that we started with. So just 7, 9, 7, and 9. The E, D, and A strings. Then you're back into second time. Now going boom, instead of just staying on that low E. It goes to E, D, A again, and then just that again. Yeah. Now the first time you played B to E before going into whatever, da, 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 da. This time it drops a tone. So A, D, and then you go G, G, C, C, A, D. So 3, 3, 5, 5. Then, oh, my doggy's here. Hello, pop bums. Okay. So then I got, this time instead of playing low down here, I'm playing it. So it sounds like the other guitar's higher this time. So I'm playing 6 and 9, 7 and 9. And then moving up 2 frets to 8 and 11 and 9, 11. Then a D on 5, then open E to A. Here he is, guitar supervisor. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Right, let's carry on with the lesson. Oh, right, so next you've got the section which is kind of vocals leading into the guitar solo, and that's played over a B, E, and A chord. You're just starting off on the roots. Yeah, just the B, E, A, 7, 7, 5 on E to A to E, and then this riff. So it's basically a B Mixolydian scale. Okay, it's B major with a flat and 7th. Okay, so I'm playing B, C sharp, D sharp, E. So 7, 9, 6, 7 on E and A. And then F sharp, G sharp, A. 9, 6, 7 on A and D. Then just go back down and repeat. So keep that going under the guitar solo. Last time, instead of going down, kind of go and then go to a higher E. So instead of going down to low E, low B, sorry, I should say, B. So we start from, so you got to that A there, then G sharp, A, B flat, B. Just go chromatically 6, 7, 8, 9. And then you're back into a D. Okay, looks like before. Okay, and this time the bass kind of ducks out and there's a guitar section, kind of the intro again. Okay, and then you're coming in with the main riff and there's a slight variation. So that's the same basically, and then it's the same. Now you add 2 extra notes, A and E. So go, okay, 2 and 2 on the G and D strings, and then back to just that. That's the same, and then straight into and there's a little variation. So it plays a couple of the low ones, then it goes to the higher B. And so so it's 9 and 9, 7, 9, 7. And then put 6 in. Basically like before. So not playing it exactly as on the track, I'm basically just getting from the low one to the top one. Okay, so as long as you kind of using the scale to go up and down, so it's basically it goes like couple down, couple up, and then down, up, sort of, yeah. So it's basically made, is it the bottom note, or is it the top note? You're going, so, up or down. Okay, so you can kind of just mix up those two. You can sort of mix those two up, and then just sort of finish on a B, and then an octave higher B. That kind of thing. Just sometimes she throws in a little B, A, F sharp, 9, 7, 9. But that's just a play out, so you can kind of jam around on that. But as long as it's all over that B Mixolydian scale, okay? And so there you go. That's the bass and a great track. And thanks for requesting it. Cheers, buddies.